I wasn't even on the screen. God help me, Jesus. Hey, what's going on, y'all? You know, like I always do, I send everybody the link last minute, and so I'm waiting on everybody getting here. Jericho early. The other dudes they late on the CPT. So I just want to start out before everybody get here and just say thank you all, especially everybody that have supported me all these years. Everybody's been liking and subscribing to the channel. I know that some of you guys may not have heard of the news, but I just signed a deal with Salem Radio to have my own radio show syndicated across the country, all over the world. And it is since Larry Elder retired that I'm taking his spot on the radio show. It will be from 3 to 6 every day. You can do the math at what time that is on the East Coast, 6 to 9. It'll be every day, Monday through Friday. It's syndicated. You can go to Salem now, download the Salem app. You can watch it all there. Or if you're riding in your car, you can listen to me while you're on the road. So I appreciate it. I see YouTube has never changed. They still take forever to have followers and give you guys, not followers, but have you guys come on, give you notifications and all that stuff. They full of crap. So the show is called The Officer Tatum Show. Y'all need to check it out. I'm not leaving YouTube. I'm just going to post some of my show on YouTube and continue to do the same videos that I've been doing. So y'all pray for me because that's a lot of work. Everybody here now. So we finna get everybody in and we finna talk about this. ABL in the house. Oliver Mack in the house. Jericho Greasy in the house. Let's see. I have it. Oh, I need it like that.
What up?
What's up, fellas? What's up, fellas? I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about, man. I like that. I like
Tatum. Hold on, man. Hold on. Congratulations, man.
I appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Round of applause. Round of applause.
Hey, man. Come on.
Yeah,
Larry Elder.
Come
on now.
Y'all better come on my show, though. I'm gonna be. Matter of fact, if y'all available tomorrow, I'm filling in for Charlie Kirk. So if one of y'all available tomorrow during the morning time, we'll talk about it after the thing. Y'all come on, man. I'm filling in for him, so I want some people to call in and have a good time. I'm gonna get all the bugs out on his show. So if I mess up, I'll mess up on his show. But anyway, man, I want to talk about. I know the Kevin Samuel thing is kind of getting old. Everybody talking about it, but man, I didn't get a chance to talk to you guys about Kevin Samuels. You know, I thought it was very disgusting that women, especially people of color, was trashing that man after his death because they don't like the truth. And so I want to talk about it for a minute, man. Kevin Samuels, in my personal opinion, he was harsh. It was actually hard for me to watch sometimes. Them girls was getting told off, but it was the truth. And so I want to know what you guys think about his passing. Do you think that it was malicious? You think somebody did it to him? You think it was just a heart attack? What do y'all think about
it? Hey, if what we hear is true that he died with the young lady, you give me a piece of paper and a pen, I can't write down a better way for it to end. I mean, hey, if you're gonna go do it, he died doing what he loves. But,
that's right.
Hey, you know, R.I.P. to him. He did a great service on YouTube and any other platforms he may have been on. But see, when they get all emotional and stuff, and they get all in their feelings, as they say these days, they leave out key elements to the story. And one key element is these women approached him. They asked him what he thought about their situation. You knew what you were getting into. When you walk into a pizza place, you got to expect some pizza, right? They knew what they were getting into. They just didn't like to hear it. Nobody really likes to hear the raw, uncut about them. But that's what they got. And for women to be acting like that, especially, I mean, no, I can't say that we hold them to a higher standard, but you have a larger platform than most. And for you to use it to say something so evil and spiteful, talking about Vivica A. Fox, I mean, that was gross. That was mean. That was a lot of things. It was not classy, and it was not befitting of a queen. Isn't what they call themselves? Yes, queen, king, queen. Yeah. That was not very regal at all, Miss Fox.
Well said, Jericho. Well said, Jericho. But you know, I was a big Kevin Samuels fan. I would admit that. A lot of the things that he said, it really made sense to me, right? Because a lot of these women they are expecting a lot from men, but not giving men anything in return. But in the case of his passing, I don't think there was anything malicious. I actually know someone who knows the person who was with. Hey, Corinne, how you doing? Welcome. Yes.
This is exactly.
Cop the shirt. But yeah, I know somebody who was who knew the person who was with Kevin Samuels, and apparently she was a nurse, but she had a checkered past as well. She was, you know, one of those girls that, you know, could have put it on him on that last day, and maybe he had taken some little blue pills. I mean, I know Kevin Samuels drinks a lot of Red Bull, and Red Bull can definitely race your heart, can definitely have an effect on your heart. But I mean, I'm not going to think anything malicious happened. I just think there was some things that kind of mixed together that may have attributed to this, but you know, it is what it is. But what I've been seeing with Twitter and these people that are just, oh my God, it's just disgusting how they're talking about this man who passed. Like even before it was confirmed that he passed, and the way that people were talking about him saying, yes, he died. Like, oh my God, I can't believe it. That's so awesome. I'm like, dude, this is a man who passed. All he did was speak the truth, and he did a lot of what us conservatives do, right? We speak the truth, and a lot of people hate us because they speak the truth. And you know, I could say if one of us passed, the left will probably have the same reaction for us because they're disgusting people, and it's just unfortunate that these people, you know, have these platforms that he could just spew this stuff about people who pass and people who are just spitting the truth, people who are just spitting the facts about what people need to hear. I mean, what is Kevin Samuels actually doing? He's talking about how to better the relationships between men and women, how to make women more accountable, how to make men more accountable. Like, why is that something that somebody should die for?
Yeah, it's crazy. What do you think, ABL? ABL, you know him pretty good, or you were in the Manosphere?
Yeah, I knew Kevin. Kevin's a good dude. Always would look out for you. Always. Anybody that he knew, anybody that he respected, he'd look out for you. He'd call you, give you some advice. I know sometimes I'd be on the stream and he'd be watching the stream. He'd be like, hey man, tighten your shirt up. You're looking kind of crazy. Like he was that kind of person. And you know, the funny part is he would give men that kind of advice. And it was much worse than the advice he would give to women, but nobody cared about that. He did that for a long time before he started talking to the women. Nobody really cared. It was just whatever. You know, it'd be a guy on there and he was like, look, man, you fat, you don't have no money, you you stay with your mama and you want a girl, get off my line.
He asked this one dude, he said, and I know this is graphic and I'm not gonna say the whole thing. He pretty much was asking the man, you know, what you're working with, you know. He said, what's your size, you know? Yeah. And the dude said, well, I don't know. And he went off on him, bro. It was bad. He said, oh, you know, that means you got a little, and you fat, and you broke. Get off
man. Right. Yeah, like he was super vicious with the men. But when it comes to the women, oh, we got all this equality and girl power and feminism. But at the same time, we delegate flowers and treat us the same. It's like, well, which one do you want? Do you want to be treated the same or do you want to be treated differently? So nah, he was always a good dude. And as far as foul play, I don't think so. See, Kevin also had cancer before. He had Hodgkin's lymphoma when he was in college. And he went through chemotherapy. And they said if you have chemotherapy, it triples your chances of having a heart attack later in life. And my dad was 61 when he had a heart attack and died. So Kevin went 57, 56. So only about 4 years difference. And black male life expectancy in the United States is right around 64. So, I mean, I think that, you know, maybe the prior cancer diagnosis, maybe the Red Bull, I don't know. But, and also he worked a lot, worked really hard all the time. He'd be very giving with his time. That was the kind of person that he was. So I don't think it was any kind of foul play. I think it was just his time to go, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree, man. I thought it was weird when I said it 911, when I listened to the 911 call. I just felt like that girl was kind of weird, man. You know, and I'm not saying it was foul play. Just she was weird. Just kind of the stuff that she was saying. She was, you know, kind of acting as if he was still kind of alive. You know, she was talking to him, and she had told the dispatcher they need to come and do CPR. And it's like, wait a minute, you a nurse?
You're a nurse, right?
Why are you asking them to do CPR? Why are you asking them for AED? You should be doing chest compressions. It's not that. I mean, but I wasn't there. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if she saw him going down that path, right? Meaning that he was having palpitations or something like that, and she was like, "We need an AED so we can, you know, if it come down to it, can shock it and get his heart right." Or, you know, was she, you know, I don't know, man. It was a very weird call, but it was very shocking that he had passed away, man. I thought that he was doing such a great job. He had just, you know, almost got to the pinnacle of his career, man. He was just keeping it real, and I think he's very different than some of these other relationship gurus, because I felt like he was keeping it real. He was honest about what he was saying. He meant what he said. He was just unlike some of these other people where they completely frauds. You know, they out here just saying what they doing is they listen to Kevin Samuel. They don't do the research, and they try to replicate what he's doing. And then they got the sound bites that they do steal from this person and this person and this person and try to apply it to every situation. And they sound like they have no idea what's going on.
You know what? It's almost like, is there no more honor amongst adversaries? Because the people that we all talk about, the people that we all can't stand, and we look at all the horrible things they're doing to this country, if they were to die, Biden, Pelosi, Harris, whoever, we're not going to rejoice in their death and gloat and be like, good, I'm glad they're dead. They're this and that. That's tasteless. It really is. And that's at the bottom. That's just not a good look. That's not in good taste. That's terrible. So even if it's somebody you don't agree with, or you hate their politics or their policies or whatever, I mean, come on, when they pass away, how about say nothing? That's always an option too. But like ABL was saying, like, they don't realize if you're a dude and like you're going on a man's show or something like that, and you say something stupid, you are about to get fire breathed all over you. There is no punches pulled. You're about to get the business because you're a man. You're supposed to be able to take it. This is part of the life that we live. So there will be no consideration for your feelings, and you better not start crying. And it's the exact opposite. If you were to be talking to a woman like that and she starts crying, you're automatically going to pump your brakes, maybe start handling it differently. Oh man, don't cry. I didn't mean to make you cry. If a dude cries, that's going to be even worse. You're just dumping gasoline on the fire. But they want equity. They want to be at the same finish line we are, but they don't want equality. You don't want this.
Do you guys think women, all right, I'm gonna say this crazy. I'm gonna say something crazy.
Go ahead.
Then y'all okay.
Let's go.
It's an exaggerated thought, but I want to hear what you guys have to say. I may have said this last time we were live. I forgot. Do you think women voting is destroying America?
Oh, man. Who's going to be the first to answer that one?
I'll go ahead.
Go ahead.
I mean, the long answer is short, yes. Because if you look at they got certain maps where it says if you take away this group, that group, or whatever, and how they would vote. If it was just men that voted only, we would never vote for a liberal ever.
You're right.
Ever.
Yep.
And I think if not for the women ruling some of these communities, black communities, if it wasn't for the women ruling these communities, then you wouldn't have so many men that vote liberal in the black community or at all. Once you become more feminized and become more trying to be nice and pleasing everybody, then you vote more on the left. Like I saw this picture. I'm not sure if these guys are trans, because I can't tell no more. I mean, you got guys looking like Bill Goldberg from WWF, WCW, but are actually transgender. I don't know what's going on, but have you guys seen people walking around with their handmade tail costumes?
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Mm-hmm.
Now you presume that they're all women doing that, right?
Yeah, handmade. Yeah.
Now I saw two Billy Bob Thornton looking dudes.
Nah.
Yes. Going fishing, drinking beer, regular white guys, right? With the handmade tail costume on, the whole get up, the hood, the dress, all of that. That right there, you know how they're going to vote because they're feminized.
Yep.
If they weren't feminized, then that whole thing wouldn't even exist. It wouldn't exist. So that's definitely an issue.
Yeah,
it just is what it is, and it's not even now trying to attack women. This is just biology speaking, generally.
And let me interject. I just think people got to get out of the mindset of thinking that generally speaking means every individual, right?
No, yeah.
It's like if you look at the numbers, you say generally, if you look at this demographic of people, they typically vote liberal, by and large. It's just like the black community. You look at the black community, vote 90+% for Democrats.
Yeah.
You have to say, like, these groups that are disproportionately voting for progressivism is ruining our country. I mean, that's just what it is.
Yep. So I 100% agree with ABL. I mean, I didn't know how to say it, but you articulate that perfectly, ABL. But yeah, if you look at the statistics, and I was watching Tim Pool one day, and he actually pulled up these charts, and he was looking at what group of people supported like Black Lives Matter and all these leftist causes, and it's overwhelmingly women. So overwhelmingly women support all this liberal agenda. So if we didn't have women voting for that, then everybody who ran who was a conservative would get elected. All of the conservative policies will get brought to the table. Like, we would never ever have to worry about liberalism again if women didn't vote.
And that's a very interesting concept, because I think that, you know, this is a thing. Some women are going to get upset and say, oh, they're not right. And I'm not suggesting that we overturn it at this point. I'm just pointing out the facts. But I also think the same way about black people. And I don't think that black people shouldn't vote. But I would say that for some reason, black people voting for 90%, 98% in some of these cities, voting for Democrats is absolutely out of control. And if one wanted to draw the conclusion and say which voting block of people are destroying America, it will be women versus men. It will be black versus every other race. That's
Right.
just what it is. And if black people were, to be honest, if black people were 50% of the population, our country would be doomed.
Yeah.
Yep.
And with the mindset, if the culture, the mindset, and the per capita thought process was consistent, and black people were 60% of the population and not 13% of the population, our country, we wouldn't have a country. If women, somehow men went off to war and a lot of them died, and women were voting on behalf of these men or whatever the case may be, we wouldn't have a country anymore. We would be filled with progressivism, and we would become a communist nation. It's just the facts.
Yeah,
I look at it.
I think if you have a party, the Democrat Party, that plays on emotions. You have a group of people and women who are emotional. It's a match made in heaven and match made in hell for some of the rest of us, because that's what, help these people, of course. Money for this, of course. He's so nice. You know, I used to listen, back in the day, I used to listen to Michael Savage, and he was talking about how women don't like him usually because he yells a lot and he's very passionate. But on the opposite, men loved it because he was so passionate. He yelled. They were like banging on their dashboards, driving, saying, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. But a lot of women were turned off to it because of his aggressive nature. And women are also susceptible to voting with their downstairs parts too. Because if you look at your Obamas, your Trudeaus, your Newsoms, these are all good-looking dudes. These are all dudes with a mouthpiece. And they're good-looking, so they voted for him. I'm sure that had a lot to do with it, because if you had some, some former, Raiderette or something running for president or something like that, and they were very pretty, yeah, I think a lot of dudes would vote for her just because of the way she looks. That's the truth. So I think it happens the other way too. I know women, get this whole thing, oh, we don't think like men, whatever. Something made you put these dummies in office. But yeah, you got a party who specializes, their specialty, their calling card is emotions. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and when you talk about the black community, why they vote Democrat? Because the black community is run by women. So you have a community that's run by women, and they create men who are highly emotional, who are highly susceptible to the liberal agenda, and that's why they vote that way. So it goes back to that too.
Let me give you this example of women and men. I'm not going to say any names, but there's a man that I know that is more rational in voting, in my opinion, can articulate for the most part why he chooses to vote a certain way. And then this man has a wife, and his wife literally told me that Kamala Harris is her girl because they were sorority sisters. They're in the same sorority. Yeah, sorority. no matter what I say about how ridiculous she was, none of it mattered. It was about sorority sisterhood. She can be Hitler, but it's about sorority sisterhood. To me, that's an example of emotionalism,
right,
in thought process, rearing children. And we've talked about this before. When it comes to rearing children, why do you think there's so much emotional men? Because men are not to be as emotional as women. When you have a young man who is ruled by a person who's operating in emotions, there becomes a conflict in that young man's life. And that's why you see these young men who are violent and they cannot handle their temper, and all of these crazy traits come out of them. I think, I'm not a scientist, I didn't study this, I just feel, based on what I've seen, is that masculine feminine contradiction in a man growing up causes him to be a lot more mentally or emotionally unstable and violent. That's just my opinion.
You know what? I think I'm gonna disagree with you on one part, B. Tatum. I think we have studied this. If you look at the years you've been around a certain group of people, growing up around Black people, that's years, that's decades that you've been subconsciously doing a case study. You've been looking, you see what happens. So I think in a way we have been studying it. So we are authorities on speaking all that kind of stuff. And it's true. It's true. You have these men who are raised by women, so they have a man's body, a man's strength with the emotions of his mama and them who raised him. And that's where the hyperviolence comes in, because they have the ability to inflict more violence because they're men and their strength and their size. And we're just more aggressive and violent by nature. But to have that paired with poor emotional abilities, that's crazy. That's like having what was his name? Lenny from Mice and Men. You got this big old dude who has like superhuman strength, but he was, underdeveloped and ended up being a real problem at the end of that book. So yeah, that is definitely, there's a direct connection between that, and emotion is going to get us in trouble.
So, and this is an example of slight emotions. I disagree. Women can be intellectual and conservative. It's like, how do
we
you
didn't
get,
say that?
I mean, I don't know if this person
said we couldn't.
comment. Let me give them a credit. I don't know if they're commenting to somebody else comment or they commented to us. It's like, this is where emotions come in. You feel attacked. Nobody ever said that women couldn't be intellectual. I'm married to one that's intellectual and conservative, but it's the same thing with what's his name, Kevin Samuels. Like, people, the emotions make them feel some type of way about what he said. That's not actually what he said. And so this person, I know it's probably a scam account, but it brings up my next conversation. Somebody said, "Keep Fresh and Fit name out of your mouth." Now, I think it's a joke because that person don't have a real profile. But speaking of Fresh and Fit, this is the contrast that I feel, because I follow a couple guru men that talk about relationships, and I think a lot of them are intelligent. The Fresh and Fit side of this stuff, to me, is a bunch of beta men who are emotionally unstable and they can't get women, so they get mad at women. They feel offended because they don't match up to women, in my opinion. Like, when a man is telling you, and they said it on the video, I saw it. When a man is saying, I can cheat, but she can't cheat. I can be on Instagram and post thirst traps, but she can't post thirst traps. You're literally not living in reality.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about those dudes, but based off of that don't make any sense, man. You're not going to operate a successful household with those kind of rules. It's not. Yes, men are the leaders of the home, but they're not the rulers and dictators of the home. You need a partner. You need somebody who can keep up with you, somebody an equal in this life, not somebody, well, I can do this, but she can't do that. That's ridiculous, man. You need to get a dog, not a wife. But to say that to cheat, man, that's the trust. Trust is the foundation. Once that foundation has a crack in it, anything built upon it will fail. You cannot be cheating on each other. Stay single, then it's not cheating. But to do that to somebody, man, that's horrible. You ain't living in reality. You're living in one of them one of the forums you be in or something, or some magazine he read one time. That's not reality.
ABL, you cheesing over there. What
No, because I actually saw something about this today because I was watching you ever see Shannon Sharp's podcast?
Yep.
He had Michael Blackson on there, the comedian. The African dude, I think he lives in Philadelphia.
Oh, motherfucker.
Yeah. So he was talking about how he has a deal with his girl. He's like, hey, look.
Yeah.
I'm rich.
I heard about that.
Yeah, I'm rich. I got all the money. I'm gonna take care of everything. Don't worry about it. Living in a lap of luxury. But yo, I'm gonna have a couple side girls.
Mm-hmm.
Cool with it? And she said, yep. And she don't go outside of him. He can do what he wants, but they can't because he takes care of everything. And that's what he presented to her. Now, I'm not saying that's the great way to go. That's the ideal. The ideal is to have men and women just be together, raise the kids, and happily ever after. That's the ideal. But some people, they do stuff like that, and it's fine. And he even said it. He was like, if you line up 10 women and you present that deal to them, 80% would say yes.
Who said that?
Michael Blackson on Shannon Sharp's podcast.
I don't know what. I disagree.
That's not me saying nothing. Yeah. That's not me endorsing it. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Some guys do that. And
yeah. And my whole thing is this: I feel like if that's the agreement that you want to make with another person, then fine. But to go out and act like that is normal, to
it's
act
not
like
normal. No.
I'm a high value man because I do this. I disagree with a person saying I'm a high value man, but I don't have enough integrity, or I don't have enough, maturity to commit to one woman. Like, I feel like a high value man can be successful financially and have enough discipline to be with one woman. If you a type of dude that's like, I want a girl at the house and I'm gonna go out and have girlfriends, you are an irresponsible man. You are a bad investment. We all know, because I know that none of us is virgins on here. We all know that it sounds good until you start messing with these girls, and then now somebody got a conflict of interest, right? Somebody want to be booed up now. Somebody get pregnant. It never go right. You ain't finna sit there and be having all these women, and you have a woman at home. Tell me how long this gonna last.
Yeah, it's not sustainable.
After a while, one of the side chicks gonna want to be the main chick. What, you gonna put two main chicks up in the house? You feel me? And you think the main chick gonna sit there at the house and just chill? Eventually, she gonna want to go out and have fun.
Yep. It's like going to Vegas for a bachelor party with your boys. Yeah, that's cool for Friday and Saturday. You can't live like that. You can't sustain those RPMs. And it sounds cool for a while, but you throwing it on the table and gambling with it, so to speak. Eventually, a baby's going to come into the mix. And then, what kind of home environment is that when mommy and daddy got an open relationship? You're just creating another generation of weirdos. But I don't think that's sustainable.
And here's the thing about Fresh and Fit that I think people don't get. They say a truth, and then they conflate truth with a made up lie. If you were to say, women get more attention than men on social media, that is 100% true. Now, but we all know that women don't get quality attention.
Mm-hmm.
And women don't jump on all the attention they get. Women probably have 100 DMs, and they got, out of 100, 90 of them is nasty dudes. Just no game, just nasty, showing DPs, D pics, saying, "What's up, girl? Hey, girl, what you up to?"
It's like, whoa.
Like, hey, but that worked for somebody. Some girls are like,
whoa, we went from CO2 100 real quick. It's like, sir.
And dudes be doing that to women, so they have, and even Fresh and Fit admitted to this and contradicted their own statement that women are a lot more picky than men are. Women want quality, men want quantity. And so when you see men, they may only have 20 chicks in there, and they talking to 15 out of the 20. You know what I'm saying? Women will have 100 and talk to 5. Men will have 20 and talk to 15 of them. And in my opinion, that's why you can't say it's okay for me to have a thirst trap Instagram, and you can't, because you'll get more people in the DMs. Even women at the gym, a woman sitting there working out, dudes just be thirsty. they thirsty and it's not attractive. And you know, so I don't know. That's just my opinion.
I don't like going to the gym because that's why I got a home gym, because quiet as kept, you got dudes trying to holler at you in the gym too.
You live with
They try to get right up on you, right beside you. Hey,
they want to spot
crunches. You over to do your crunches. Here come a dude, eye contact. He picking over his little. It's like, sir, if you don't go over there, this ain't that. I'm not. I don't go that way. This ain't no LGBTQ friendly situation. But yeah, I don't want to have no dude like approach me on some TSA agent type stuff where they want to touch on my stuff, like when they want to glance past it. You know what I mean? Go over there.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to go back to this. I want to go back to the agreement that you were talking about. You know, I don't think it's 80% of women that would agree to do that, but I think it's a lot. I think there's a lot. We have created this culture where it seems like women, as long as they can benefit, like if they're with a multi-millionaire that's going to take care of them, it's like they put up with more stuff than if it was somebody who was making $50,000 a year or something like that. So I think a lot of women, they gravitate to these men, and then they get with these men and they understand that this man is not going to be faithful. They know that. They know if they get with a rapper or some kind of performer, they know this man is not going to be faithful, but they get with him anyway. They have babies with them anyway because they feel like they're going to be taken care of. It kind of goes back to, you know, the fact that, you know, women, they got married to the government, right? So they didn't need a man. All they cared about was the money. So in these situations, it seems like it's just about the money as long as they're taken care of, because they can go get knocked up by some celebrity, some millionaire, and now they're fine because all they cared about was the money. And I think that's what's going on in our culture, especially with women. It's not like, you know, they're looking for love anymore. It just seems like they're looking for somebody that's going to provide financially, and that's it.
Yeah. And I got to say this. I would say many. I wouldn't say this is my opinion. I say many women do it. I wouldn't say most women do it. I may say a lot, but I wouldn't say 80%, because I think that what's happening is it's in a vacuum, right? A lot of people are talking about these trashy women too. If you say, if I go to Miami and go to the club scene, I can survey those women. 90% of those women do pull up in a Lambo. They hawking.
Yep.
A dude, you know, making $50,000 a year. They ain't trying to holler at them. If you look at the broad spectrum of women in the entire country, I think you'll see less women than what Fresh and Fit and them see on their shows, because I think a lot of women want good, genuine men, and I think a lot of men are too childish initially to really deal with those women. But I do think there's a good amount of women who are looking for status in a man and money. And Kevin Samuel talks about this all the time, that they don't realize that they're not eligible. You know, they think because I'm pretty and I got a nice butt that this man wants me, that I believe is on a pedestal way up here, not realizing that it's a million women that got nice butts and look cute. It's other things that you have to be able to do in order to separate yourself from that situation. No woman should be dealing with a man who's cheating on them. That's not an acceptable thing. Right. Like, you should be with them. As many men who are faithful. Every man on this panel right here, 100% of the men on this panel are faithful men who will be faithful to their woman. None of us is trying to be out here cheating and doing that stuff. You know, so women have to get themselves in a position to understand their value, understand what they want, and not be fooled by a delusional sense of, I want a man with money and not necessarily a man with morals.
Yeah, when you talked about, oh, go ahead, ABL.
And sometimes the women don't even come with the looks. Like I saw on a Kendra G show. I don't know if you know what that is, but she does a live show on Instagram and Facebook where she brings on singles, try to get people to, you know, so they could put themselves out there. Maybe they can get somebody. Men and women, they call up, talk about what's going on, what they got going on in life. But this one girl called up, about 5 foot tall, kind of portly, kind of round. You understand? The hair was not done. And I'm not one of these guys that's all into the women's hairstyle. I don't really care too much about that, but make it look nice. If you look like you just came home from the penitentiary on a live stream, you could do something with that. You know what I mean? She had like these little dreads that were all over the place. It's like, ma'am, you could have like put that back. You could have done something with that, but she didn't look good. Just keeping it all the way real. And she was like, hey, I want a man that makes at least $200,000 a year. And her reasoning for that is because she makes that kind of money. So they think because if they make a certain kind of money and they got a certain kind of education, you got to match it. But what they don't understand is if a man makes that kind of money, you are not going to be, you're not on the same level as him just because you make the same kind of money. We don't really care too much about how much money the woman makes. That's not really a prerequisite for us, especially if you got money. If you don't have a lot of money, you might need to worry about that because y'all trying to come together and build something. But if you got a bunch of money, if you already making $200,000, you ain't worried about how much money she got. So they don't really understand that. And that's part of the reason why Kevin was so good. He just made people realize, hey, you're not where you think you are. You're down here. If you want to get up there, tighten yourself up and do some things to get to that particular level.
Yeah, he had women actually understand what their SMV was, their sexual marketplace value, right?
Yeah.
Because women would think that, oh, because I have a degree or I have a master's or I have a business, I make this much money, that would make them valuable to men. And it doesn't, because we don't care about that type of thing. Like, we want somebody who's going to bring peace into our life. We want somebody who's going to be able to take care of home and different things like that. If you got a degree or a master's and you make even $1 million a year, and you don't know how to take care of the home, you don't clean, you don't cook, you don't do any of these things, you don't want to take care of the kids, you rather put them off on a babysitter, like, that's not a desirable woman to a man. So, I respected Kevin Samuels for actually breaking it down and letting women understand, hey, you may think that you're a 10, but you're really a 5, so you shouldn't be looking for men who are 10, you should be looking for men who are on your level.
And I think that Kevin did it great. And I think that men need to look at the same thing too, is that you want the supermodel. Well, you got to understand that the supermodel don't want you. You know what I'm saying? you got to understand what your marketplace value is. Because I'm going to be honest, man. Like, I see why some women like men with money. Because I don't care what nobody say, money will change your life. Money can give you access to a lot of things that being broke can't get you access to. For instance, if a woman is out here and she want to have children, she want to have children in an environment in which she can probably take care of those children, which means she might want to be a stay-at-home mom, in an environment in which you can give that child the best education possible, in an environment in which you can live in a community that's nice and safe and you can have a reasonable lifestyle in an environment in which you can travel. Now, I don't blame women for saying, I'm looking for a guy that can give me this lifestyle. But at the same time, you got to understand that you got to be that valuable woman that adds value to a man's life. There's a difference between you saying, I would love to be with a man that is highly successful, that's a high value man, because it offers you a different perspective in life. Like what I feel like that I want for my wife is that I wanted my wife to not have to work. I want my wife to not have to worry about money. I wanted my wife to have all of these great things. So why wouldn't she want a man like me to give her that? You get what I'm saying? I think as a woman, it's okay to want that. But you just have to make sure that you're the type of woman that's receptive to a man that can provide that to you. Meaning that you ain't going to be arguing with him about who making more money. That's not what a man wants. You're not going to be sitting around the house just sitting up and doing something. You got to be creating peace. My wife makes the bed every morning. My wife has the house clean every morning. And if she can't clean it, we get people to clean it. You know what I'm saying? She makes it, the baby, she puts in the bed every night. She watches him. I go to work. I do my thing. I come home to peace, food, clean house, smell good. Those are the things that make what I would consider a high value man want a woman like that, no matter what her status is. Anyway.
And that will give you drive to go make her life even better, to be an even better man for her, because she provides that peace for you. Like I've said, if you don't provide peace, you'll just be a side piece. No man needs that.
I like that.
I need a shirt.
No man. No man. He's been out there because to be a high value man, to make that kind of money, you're out there fighting. You're fighting the current. You're always trying to make things better. You're making more money. You're securing things and plan B and plan C. So you don't want to come home to that. No straight man, I should say, wants to come home to male energy, aggression. I don't need that. I've been dealing with that all day. I need someone who's going to bring calm and allow me to relax and recharge to go back out there and bring you this life that we have. And if women could just understand that if you add something to a man, he'll want to give you all of those things. That will drive him to give you that. Your pleasure is his pleasure. Your happiness is his happiness. Making you happy, seeing a smile, stress-free look on your face, that's everything to a man. But if you're not adding to it, you're taking away, man, you'll get passed up quick. You ever went to a bus stop and watched the bus go by? That's exactly what'll happen.
What can we describe what is a high value woman? Because I think we all kind of get what a high value man is at. A man in my opinion, with integrity, that's very successful, that have a social status, a lot of things, dress good, smell good, physically fit, all of these things that you can consider yourself as a high value man. I mean, I saw a guy the other day get out of a Lamborghini, and the dude was, I knew he was high. I know that dude make money. He's in great shape. He dressed good. He was in a Lambo. He has confidence. You can see it all over this dude that he's a high value person. And not only does he present himself that way, he clearly got money because he's driving a Aventador. But what is a high value woman though? Because I know Kevin Samuel talk about high value men. What is a high value woman? Does anybody have a description of that woman?
I think. Go ahead, Oliver.
No, you go ahead.
I think a high value woman is going to be different from a high value man because there's different expectations. I think a high value woman, her making a lot of money, I don't think that's going to be that important. But I guess in terms of value, I guess so. Yeah, she can provide for herself. She works, but it's more of what kind of woman she is. I think that makes her a high value woman, a woman of character, a woman who takes care of herself, respects herself, demands respect for herself, but is happy with and comfortable in her place, her position as a woman. She's not going to try to be another dude in the house. I think that kind of value is priceless. Like a Claire Huxtable, professional, looks good. You could take her around everybody. She's classy. She's smart. I mean, that I think is a high value woman. It's going to be not so much emphasis on the financial, but more on her character. And of course, she's whatever you consider beautiful. That's what she is.
Yeah. So now let me put this together, right? Mm-hmm. And Oliver, you could take it. So when you look at a high value man, you see a man that's attractive, that's got social status. I'm assuming that he's intelligent to a certain degree, because it's almost impossible for you to be very successful if you don't have a level of intelligence. Now, the female version, the female version of this, right? Could a woman be high value woman and be extremely intelligent, fine? I'm talking about fine, great shape, in shape, working out, very smart, college degrees. Could that woman be a high valued woman? Meaning make a lot of money too. Like she's the male version of a high value man. Could she be a high value woman married to a high value man?
Yeah, I think absolutely she can be a high value woman, because, if she's not putting her education, how much she makes and stuff like that on the forefront, because she has to understand that, they both play a role in a relationship. The man plays a role as the husband, the woman plays a role as a wife. And as long as she's not stepping over that and stepping into the role of the husband, trying to be the husband, trying to lead when the man is supposed to lead, of course she could be a high value woman, because there are a lot of women out there that have that type of stature, that have that income, that have the looks and different things like that. And they are married to high value men and they are happy because they're not trying to be the man. Like, I think that's the point where we get it confused is, a lot of these women that are struggling to find a man, a lot of these women that are struggling to be in a good relationship is because they're not playing their role. Like they don't want to give up power, right? So you know, I want to talk about this when we were talking about the last segment. Like a woman, you know, she has to be raised to be a wife, right? You know, I think Kevin Samuels talks about that sometimes. Like your mom has to raise you to be a good wife. Like you have to understand that yes, you're going to grow up and one day you're going to be someone's wife, and these are the things that you should be responsible for as someone's wife. This is how you should act as someone's wife. And a lot of women today, they haven't gotten that at all. Their mothers have taught them you don't need a man. You don't need anybody. You need to learn how to be independent. So a lot of these women, they go out and they get these careers and they go out and they do all these things. They get a business and different things like that because in the back of their mind, they're like, well, I can't depend on a man. I can never depend on a man because my mother told me I can't depend on men. I can't trust men. So I have to get it on my own. So a lot of times these women that have these things, they try to get in relationships and then they fail because they're too busy with this independent woman mentality, and that just messes a man up. No man wants to be with a woman that has all this testosterone that's trying to run the relationship.
Let me give you an example. I think my wife is high valued, and it's not just because she's my wife, you know, but my wife left a job making $80K a year to move with me, get married, and stay at home. She left a job making $80K a year, probably more. I think she was making a base $80K a year. The question is, how many women do you think will do that? You know, the women out here in the comment section, answer the question. If you were making $80,000 plus a year, and you were to get married, would you trust your husband enough that you will leave that job and you will be in support of your husband as he is doing, you know, whatever he's doing? Because my wife took a chance, right? I said, baby, I'll take care of you. You know, leave your job. You can be a stay-at-home mom when we have babies, whatever the case may be. And she took a chance. You know what I'm saying? And I think we were probably, at the time, we were probably making the same amount of money. And she took a chance. You know, will most women in the comment section, would you do that? Or would you say, nah, I ain't gonna take no chance on no man like that? Now, mind you, we were I think, were we married yet? No, it was right before we got married. I committed to marrying my wife. I hadn't bought the ring yet, but she knew that I was gonna marry her. We had that discussion already. So I don't know. What do y'all think?
I think for a good man, yeah. If you're a good man and you love her and she trusts you, yeah, and that trust in you will motivate you to keep good on your promise because you know what she gave up to trust in you, and you owe her that. You know, if you told her you're going to do it, you'll do it, and her trust in you will help give you the drive to make it happen. So I think, yeah, if you're a good man, why not? With your woman's support and trust, you can move mountains.
See, that's about understanding the role of a husband, right? To be the leader. So there's a lot of trust that women have to put into a man in order for them to have the man be the leader. So if your wife said, okay, I'm going to trust you. I'm going to trust that you're going to put us in the best position as the leader of our family, then, you know, there's no problem with the woman doing that. But I think a lot of women, they struggle with that because, like I said, they have this independent mentality and they don't trust men. So it'll be hard for them to let go of that. I mean, go ahead.
No, finish that thought. I'm sorry.
Oh, what I was going to say is I had a situation. So, you know, I would say that my wife, she kind of grew up with that mentality that I talked about where you can't trust men. So when I wanted to move out of New Orleans to move to Houston to better our life and get a better job, buy a house and different things like that, she wasn't ready to go, right? She wasn't ready to relinquish that control of herself, basically, when she would say, okay, I'm going to trust that you know what you're doing. I'm going to trust that you're going to make the best decision for our family. So a lot of times it is hard for women to do that. But I also told her that I'm going to take care of her and she wouldn't have to worry about anything. But it was still hard for her to let go. It was very, very hard for her to let go. But eventually she did. And then it worked out great for her. But I do think a lot of women struggle with that.
I think one of the problems they struggle with is that they do this with the wrong men. You know, they quit their job and be with a man that ain't made no commitment. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just dating, and you done quit your job, and that man ain't got no commitment to you. That's another thing that I feel like women fail at too, that end up getting hurt, and then they end up believing all men are bad. Is that you got to stand up for yourself and say, bro, I ain't moving in with you unless you serious. I don't believe in the boyfriend stuff. Now it's nuances to it, so don't get me wrong, it's nuances. But like when young women go, oh yeah, me and my boyfriend moved in together, I say, wait a minute, what you mean boyfriend? Oh, boyfriend of 5 years. You like, he ain't pulled the trigger yet. You might be questioning his motive.
You just got a roommate.
Have you guys talked about marriage? Oh no, we you know, they're afraid to push it. It's like I would tell my daughter, no, if a young man wants to move in and do all this stuff, he needs to show that he's committed. He needs to be y'all need to be talking about marriage. I mean, when I was dating, one of my things that I did, I talked about marriage and stuff on the first date. I want to know where your head at. Are you thinking about getting married? Like, where you at with this? I'm taking you on a date. I'm paying for it. Look, hey, don't even worry about it. I got this. But I need to know where you at though. Are you just dating? Are you looking for marriage? Do you want children? People are so afraid to say it, but you need to know right away. You know, me and Corinne were friends first, but I knew all this stuff about her. Because we used to talk about relationship stuff as friends. But I knew A, B, C, D, and I'm like, that's wifey. Yeah, that's wifey material. We don't need to be friends. We need to be wifey. And Corinne wasn't coming over my house doing that. We were friends. No, we were friends. I don't get no benefits. You know what I'm saying? If I want benefits, I need to commit to marrying you. I need to marry you. That's how I get benefits. And if young women would do that, we'll see them being less in bad predicaments.
I think what makes that easier is game recognized game. So if she grew up with a father in the home, she's going to recognize that in you. That's going to be familiar sight. That's going to be familiar hearing the way you speak and just your mannerisms. She's going to be like, oh, I recognize that. I had a dad in my life. He worked hard. I'm getting some of the same vibes from this man. So I think that would also help move things along when she's, you know, for her to trust you is to see, you know, I've seen this before. This looks familiar. Yeah, let's do this. And then it's that much sweeter when it happens because she looks at you like, I can trust you. You did it. You know, I gave you my trust. You took care of it and you made good on your word. And hey, it sounds cliche. Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy when people talk about these relationships, these boyfriend girlfriend relationships where they live together, they've been together for 5 years and the man hasn't pulled the trigger yet. And they're like, well, we're just taking our time. We're just trying to make sure we have everything in order. Like, that's BS because a man knows immediately whether you're wifey material or not. Like, there's no way that a man spends a year with you and he don't know if he want to marry you. Like, he knows if he wants to marry you or not. A lot of times they just sit there and they get the benefits, right? They get the benefits. They get the cow, the milk for free, right? They don't have to buy a cow. So why not, right? But women have to understand, like, you are putting the man in that position. You are giving the man that power. And a woman shouldn't really give a man that power until he puts a ring on it.
Yeah, like this is two things. Like, I know that maybe Fresh and Fit and some of these other people, they're focusing on one side of it, like standing up for men. But I feel like young men need to be challenged as well. Like, you can't just think you should be sleeping with all these women. You know what I'm saying? That shouldn't be the expectation. Being promiscuous is not a good thing as a young man. And it's never good. Like, one of the guys on the show on Fresh and Fit, I think it's Fresh, he talking about he slept with 1,000 women. Now I know he lying. He can't even string a sentence together that makes sense. There's nowhere in the world he pulling no girls, especially not cold pulling, and he ain't an attractive guy at all. And so, but the theory behind it is that I'm cool because I've been with 1,000 women. Brother, I'm telling you, if you've been with 1,000 women, there's no way you're gonna have a hard time loving one woman. You're going to have a hard time. You got to think of all those emotional, sexual experiences that you have with all these people, and you think you're gonna slow down with one? No, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. And so young men need to preserve their minds and preserve their purity and try their best in this climate to stay away from being promiscuous. Focus your energy on your career Focus your energy on things that make you high value. And when you're ready to be committed to a woman, then commit. I tell my friend, he was dating some girl like 7 years. We were at the gym one day and I say, bruh, what are you doing, man? You quit playing. You playing around. You're going to marry the girl or leave her because you wasting your time. You just lingering with this girl. Maybe you can meet somebody you really like. If you ain't picked it at this point, bro, go move on. And I think that conversation really sparked something in his mind because she was a ride or die, bro. She was a ride or die. I remember when he was trying out for the police department, she came to my house with him because he had flew in and I said, let me give you some tips before you go apply. She at my house, bro, writing notes for him. He listening, she writing notes.
Wow.
I said, bro, you ain't never gonna find a woman that care about you like that. You better pull the trigger. I done told a few of my boys, I'm like, you ain't gonna meet another one. You got a few kids, bro. You got a few by a few different women, and she accept you as you are. You better take it serious, man. Don't play off on that woman. She love you. These other women like you. She love you. She's putting up with your baggage. You better commit to that woman. Anyway, I tell all my business out here, man.
1,000 women, man. How many times you had gonorrhea? 1,000? Bro, come on,
bro. You can just do the math. You do the math. You slept with 1,000 women. You probably have herpes at least.
You got something.
Yeah. The statistical data of sexually transmitted diseases, especially in the Black community, is extremely high. Like 1 in 5 people got something. You mess with 1,000 people. You have it.
Yeah, he burned it.
You transmitted it. You probably got AIDS at this point because
you better go talk to Magic Johnson and see what he's doing.
Yeah. How many Magic Johnson have? That's how many get you AIDS.
You're gonna having some blood in your handkerchief. Talking like Doc Holliday.
Yeah, I wrote something about that today. You know, especially in the Black community, when you look at this culture that we created, where men feel like they're more manly the more women that they sleep with, right? It's their self-worth is tied to how many women they can sleep with, and then their self-worth is also tied to how many kids they could have, because that tells people, well, I must be having sex because I have kids. So, you know, a lot of the self-worth in the Black community with men is tied to that. And I don't know where it comes from, but yeah, we need to stop, because it's creating a lot of serious issues. It's creating a lot of mental issues. And if we don't stop this, then it's going to get worse.
Yeah, it does. Both sides. You know, you have gurus that talk about men, and women, and the degradation of these crazy women that are just losing their minds. And then you have, then you have people that hate men and they just talk bad about men all day. I ain't no man, nothing. It's like, let's put it in perspective. The reason why you're probably not having good relationships is because of you. I remember I was dating all these women, you know, when I was dating women, and I'm not a lie, man. I didn't have the confidence, and I took things personal, and women can see that in you. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes they just want a confident man. And you think she don't want me, she want a guy with money. No, that dude confident.
Yep.
He just so happened to have money. He's exuding confidence, and the woman can see that, and she want him over you. But you know, people don't put two and two together. A lot of times a confident man that's very, you know, a stand-up type man typically advance in life more than a person who's not confident, whether you're working for somebody or working for yourself. But sometimes women just want a confident man. I didn't see ugly dudes pull women that are good looking
all the time.
It's because of his confidence. That dude is ugly, and you look good, but you kind of shy, and you kind of, hey, can I have your number? And that dude is like talking about your mama and being entertaining, and they like him. Oh, I like that guy.
Yeah, you just think about it. Like I think the number one thing that both men and women want in a relationship is stability. And I think a lot of times when you look at, you know, men who have money, that equals stability. Like, we don't have to worry about how we're going to pay the bills or how we're going to eat, you know. And for a woman, for a man, it's like a man wants a woman who's emotionally stable, right? We want a woman that's going to provide and make sure the home is taken care of, which also equals stability. So I think if we can kind of hone in on that, that's one thing that we can, as a community or as a people, can just focus on. Like, how can we become more stable individually, which will also lead to better relationships?
1,000%. Now I know I didn't went on about this, but I think that young people should. I really wish I can talk to my younger self and say, "Hey, man, like you really want to focus on you. You want to focus on being the best version of yourself. Go and travel. Go and learn stuff. Find the things that make you happy." And then while you're doing that, you will meet a woman that's in the same atmosphere as you are in. You don't have to worry about you being at a club and you mad because all these women in here just want the drug dealers. It's like, no, if you like hiking, go and hike and have fun and live your life and become the best version of yourself. And you will run into a woman that like hiking just like you do. And y'all will hit it off. You know, you like music, go to events, travel. You like traveling. You may run into a woman that loves traveling and you guys will partner and you don't worry about this high value, no value. You know, it's like people have genuine connections with individuals who do the same thing they love. I met Corinne because her mama followed me on social media and she introduced Corinne to my content. And Corinne was an extreme conservative, you know, and then I invited her to one of the events. Now, ABA, you wasn't there. I thought maybe you were there. We went to the Nesta Souza event. I invited Corinne. I was dating another girl and she was dating another guy, but I thought she was cool. I invited her there. But us being in the same circle caused us to be around each other. You know what I'm saying? We ended up crossing paths. And now there's no way I could marry anybody else but Corinne, because Corinne, I don't think no other woman could deal with me the way I am. You know, I'm into the conservative movement. I'm a big conservative. I speak for a living. All we do is talk about politics every day at our house all day. And my wife is worse than me. So we get along just fine. If I was dating a woman that was like, oh, I'm so sick of politics, it ain't gonna work. My wife is problem. My wife on this thing all day. Look at what man, these liberals, and we going back and forth. I know these liberals. We in the house like we on a podcast, you know. But you cross paths with people like that when you're living your purpose, you know, not when you're still trying to figure yourself out. But anyway,
yeah, my wife, she's slowly seeing it more and more. Like she's kind of stayed out of it. She didn't have an opinion either way, but she starts seeing these things and she starts seeing the stuff that goes on in the school. And sometimes I'll mention it to her. She's like, what does that even mean? I was like, exactly. It's ridiculous. And she's starting to get it. But when you have your counterpart, when you find that person who gets you and supports you and is all about you, it's a beautiful thing. Having a partner in life that you can trust, man, it's a beautiful thing. And it's unfortunate that we don't see in the Black community, we don't see the value in that kind of relationship, because that relationship will have a ripple effect throughout our lives and our kids' lives and things of that nature, man. And it's so unfortunate that we don't value those relationships, and young people trying to, go out in the world and actually meet people the old-fashioned way is in the face of all this internet stuff. Everything is DoorDash. You can just come to your door, swipe, whatever. I mean, it cuts out a lot of the rejection. It cuts out, having to have some game and whatever. It's just boom.com, whatever.com. This hair color, this eye color, this age range, blah blah blah. It really fights against getting out there and meeting a woman who shares your interests, like in the real world, like out in the real life. So that's another thing that these young people have to fight. And man, I hope there's enough of us older cats who have one foot, in the last generation before all this stuff exploded all over us, who can hopefully, make that sound appealing to them to where they don't get caught up in all that online nonsense.
It's going to ebb and flow, right? After a generation of people are going to find no success in that, they're going to go back to trying to connect with people in person. I did online dating. I did the little what was it, Christian Mingle. I think I even paid for eHarmony. I wasted all my money in that thing. I think I met like 2 women. They both were duds. So and I did Tinder. I ain't gonna lie. I said, and I never hooked up with nobody on there. I really thought that maybe there could be some good matches on there. You know, I was really serious about it. I'm putting my bio and I'm at like an hour trying to make my thing sound fun, putting all these pictures of me looking like a cool dude. And then I'm on there swiping only looks, boy. I was ashamed. Looks. And that's why I didn't yield nothing, man. Because the girl that looked good, one of the girls that looked good, I went on a date with her. She was a extreme liberal. I mean, but I like the way she looked. We went hiking. Our first little date, we went to a mountain and we were hiking, and you know, it's a lot of people there, but we got to know each other. I really liked her, and she came down with the liberal stuff. I can't date a man that believe homosexuality is a sin.
Oh man,
I say, bro, I'm gonna push you down this hill right now. 2 dates. The first day was hiking. I think it was like $10 because you had to go to you got to go in the park. It's $10 to park. And then the second was sushi. I mean, I took out the sushi, whatever you want to get. I think it was like $70 sushi. Yeah. And I was broke, bro. I only had like $100 and she spent $70. Man, I was like, dang. And then she hit me with I can't date a man that was, you know, so-and-so and so-and-so. And I ain't gonna say, I don't want to put her business out there, but she also told me, you know, when you out there playing, you get stuff you can't get rid of. So she, in addition to that, she mentioned that she had some stuff she can't get rid of, and I'm like,
girl, you making.
Yeah, you find a lot of that on them websites.
Yeah,
bro, God is my witness. 2 women had told me that, and thank God I'm a genuine guy, and I was really trying to wait before marriage, and I didn't never mess with these women, but they were honest up front. But it was 2 women on 2 dating sites. One was Christian Mingle or eHarmony, I can't remember, and then one was that Twitter thing. And the girl told me, and the one girl waited till we committed in a relationship. We were dating online. She lived in another state. She ended up getting a job and moving to Arizona, to Tucson. We were dating. We were really connecting, going on dates, talking to each other on the phone. And I thought that we were good enough. And I said, you know, let's make it official. This girl waited to that day. That night, she told me, I got something to tell you. And I'm thinking like, oh my God, what you gotta tell me? Well, I gotta tell you, I got XYZ. Like, you can't, it don't go away. You can't get rid of it. And I'm like, you know, I'm not mad at you for what you didn't do, but you waited till we
all this time.
You could have told me this on the app, and I would have had a chance to make a decision. Now I like you and we in a relationship, and you kind of threw that out there. It's like, now I gotta see, do I want to deal with that or not?
Trying to rope you into it.
And then
rope me into it, bro. Made me feel bad.
Trying to get you to catch feelings.
That's right. You making the blood go somewhere else.
About to pass out.
Yeah, but I'm glad y'all talking about that though, because you know, I wish we get back to meeting in person. You know, a lot of times I talk to people and they're like, well, how'd you meet your spouse? Or how'd you meet your boyfriend, girlfriend? Oh, we met online, or we met on an app, Plenty of Fish or something like that. And I'm like, man, like that's cool. But, you know, I'm a big fan of old school R&B, right? And I remember listening to those songs about when you see a girl you like and you walk up to her and you start talking to her. Like that's cool to me. That's real cool to me. You know, me and my wife, we met in person, so I didn't really have to worry about the internet stuff. And I think I met one girl over the internet like in my whole life, and because I just didn't really like it. You know, I think it was like kind of shooting crabs in a barrel when it comes to girls. So I always meet people in person. I never had a problem with that. But they got a lot of people who, you know, they don't want to step to a woman. They don't want to get rejected. And I think a lot of that was you.
Oh, dude, I was terrified. See, Oliver got the voice.
Yeah, I've been pretty smooth. I've been hollering at girls like in the mall since I was probably in the 7th grade. So
I was terrified.
Practice.
Terrified. Dude, I'm terrified. I was terrified, man. I would literally see women that I really want to talk to. I was too afraid to even walk up to them. And when I finally build the courage up all night, take a couple drinks to get a little liquid courage, and I go up to the girl, and you know, of course, she probably can smell it on me that I'm just completely like
drunk and nervous.
I had to get drunk. What's up, girl? I've been trying to talk to you all night, but you've been running from me. You know, then I go up and talk to them, and then you know, they give me their number, and I don't know what to do now because now I talk to them, I'm like, I don't know what to talk to this girl about, man.
I was
you
like,
know.
Yeah, I bought them Arizona Diamondbacks.
And she, you know, he turn her head.
Sure
some
is
other
hot.
some other dude super charismatic on the bar. He got drinks, everybody, he dancing. And, you know, I ain't dancing. I'm in the back just, you know, hanging out, you know. I was terrible, dude. I'm glad I'm married, bro. That was a terrible time in my life trying to date, but I was too shy. I tell you what, it's a girl in the movement, and my wife, I told my wife about it. I remember I was at a fundraiser with this girl, and I was like, one day I'm gonna talk to her. I thought she was like so excellent. And the first day I said, I'm gonna talk to her today. I had spoken at an event and I killed it, right? So I'm like, all right, I'm confident now. I'm gonna speak to her. I get to the bar, she with another dude. I'm like, God, she was some suave dude. I'm like, God dang it. I thought I was gonna really talk to her.
You know, that's one thing I'm gonna instill in my son, man. Just don't be nervous.
Yeah.
Just go, man. I had this homeboy of mine. He wasn't the coolest dude the way he dressed, but he didn't care. He did not care. We would be somewhere and the finest girl you've ever seen was there. And you turn on like, oh, where'd you go, man? He's already over there talking to her. He didn't, man, I envy that dude so much. I wish I could have took a part of that and put it into my young self. That's something I'm gonna tell my son. Don't be nervous, man. They're people just like you. Go over there and talk to her. She's so fine that probably a bunch of dudes don't even talk to her because they're all scared. Man, just go over there, be yourself.
Look, think about it. These days, I mean, everybody's trying to hook up online, right? If you're a dude that walks up to a chick in 2022, they're probably gonna give you their phone number because nobody does that anymore.
But sometimes,
well, ABL been waiting for this one, bro.
Sometimes if you cold approach, oh, that's sexual harassment.
Yeah, you're right.
Get off me. I'm calling the police. Have you seen these videos of women in the gym and a guy will come up to him and offer some assistance? I saw one where he tried to give the one girl a mat. The girls recording it and it's basically like cussing them out. I ain't asked for that mat. Get the mat away from me. Take the mat with you. Like, I see that a lot. Cold approach. I mean,
see, that's one place you should never ever try to talk to a female in the gym.
Right.
I've seen that type of stuff happen in the gym, grocery store. The cold approach stuff, it's hard because a lot of these girls are also kind of nervous because they're used to the online stuff. So if you approach them in the street, they kind of got their defenses up. So probably the best way, especially if you're like in your 20s, maybe early 30s, is probably the apps. That's probably the best way because if you approach her, you might have some success in the street, but a lot of times it's not going to end the way you think that it would. In years past it'd be different, but right now it's changed a lot. Especially since the pandemic and all that. People are afraid.
I got a solution for the young boys. Don't play your hand the first time you see a woman. If you don't act thirsty, you get you win that conversation. So if you see a woman that you really like, you think she's very attractive, find a way to, if you're going to say something to her, say something that does not make you feel like, or did not make her feel like you like her or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Even if you walking by and you say, oh, you know, I don't know what to say, but I'm saying, like, don't go too crazy. If you think that she got some pretty cool shoes, you can, you know, maybe mention the shoes. If you see a woman in the grocery store and you see her in an aisle and she's picking stuff that you think that you're interested in, you can maybe make a comment on and walk away.
Yeah.
Make a comment, walk away, because women are so used to dudes being thirsty. And if you just have a regular conversation with her and it doesn't seem like you're trying to do a pickup line, you know, I think, I'm not a girl, but I think that girls will probably be like, that dude is really nice. You know, he don't want me. You know what I'm saying? You know, they like, well, he don't want me. Well, why do he want me? Well, maybe something to him. Maybe he got a girlfriend, or maybe he's, you know what I'm saying? He seems to be stable. And what about this guy that's so mysterious? I feel like women kind of think like that versus the guys who are like me, who don't know how to act. You know, you go up in there and trying to pitch it all at once. Just go up and be cool, man. Be cool, be confident. Know that you have value. If you don't have value, don't try to date nobody, don't try to talk to women. But if you know you have value, just you know, because as a single man now, I'm totally not intimidated by being around women at all. You know, I don't want you. I could have a conversation with a woman, and if I was like this when I was single, I probably would have been dating a lot more.
It's damn near impossible because you got a neighbor downstairs who won't stop making noise. You're upstairs trying to conduct business, but your neighbor downstairs is having a party making too much noise, and that makes it very.
Man, I just got that joint. I was like, the neighbor downstairs making noise. What did they got to do with you upstairs?
It makes it
Well, I'm
very
slow, bro.
difficult to hold a conversation. You know, when you have that kind of distraction going on. But yeah, man. And hopefully you don't catch that woman in that stupid bad boy phase. What? Why would you want some dude that treats you like garbage? I don't understand that. Like, is it just something all women or most women just go through? They can't help it either? Or what is that? Because
biology.
Yeah, it is.
But it's not like
it look for the toughest person to defend them.
Mhm.
That's just what they think. The guy might not necessarily be super tough, but that's what they think. That's what
he's presenting.
Right.
Yeah.
He's giving off that image
and,
of
and because
of
of their
the tiger.
biology, they are attracted to that.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between being a tough guy and being a jerk, being rude.
Of course,
So-
but you're not dealing with people that are thinking logically. You're dealing with people that think with their emotions.
Mhm.
So that's how they feel. Like, it don't make sense.
But how many times do you have to be crushed by the bad boy before you get it? Before you're Jenny from Forrest Gump. Now that you've been ran through, now you want to show up to his house. Now in the twilight of your life, now I get it, Forrest. Now I love you. But he's been trying to tell you that the whole time.
Yeah, that's what happens a lot of times. So these women, they pick these bad boys over and over and over again, right? And they hurt them, they crush them, they destroy them. And then they end up having kids by these bad boys. So they got like 3 or 4 kids. And by the time they're done with that bad boy phase, now they want a regular man that's going to take care of them. And that man is like, look, I could pick somebody else, right? Well, I got to have the one with the 4 kids that's been ran through. I could have somebody else. But now she's like, well, why nobody want me? Hello.
Yeah. And sometimes they take it out on a good man too. Like they've been done dirty so bad, and then they get a good man and they don't know how to act. They gotta sabotage. You know, they see him like, oh, let me look through your phone. And why you talking to that girl? You like, look, man, I'm a normal. I had a girl do me like this. I think the woman I dated before me and Corinne got together. It was a girl, she was CrossFit, and I love like CrossFits. You know what I mean? Not the real beefy ones, but she like with a good body and legs and all that stuff. So I liked her a little bit. She was cool, but she was crazy. She had daddy issues. And I remember one time I went out of town, and I let her stay at my house while I was out of town with her friend, and they were making pumpkins or something at my apartment.
They were tagged in your apartment.
Let me tell you this. This is funny, because Corinne was like helping me. She was like my manager. We were friends. Corinne was like dating another dude or something. I don't know. We weren't thinking about being together. This girl was like, I know you want her. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She was talking about Corinne. I know you want to be with that girl. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm grown. Like, if I wanted to be with her, I would be with her. I don't want to waste my time with you. I said, chill. You need to relax. Don't go here. Just I'm good. Like, I'm not. I would be open and honest with you. You've been drinking or whatever you've been doing, just chill. She couldn't help it, bro. She kept, no, I'm not gonna let it go. You want that woman. And you know the funny thing now is that I'm married to Corinne. So this girl probably think the whole time that she was right. And it's like, no, you made yourself right, because I was dating you. Corinne was talking to somebody else. I wasn't even thinking about Corinne. And this girl was putting Corinne on you want her. And then I said, look, man, I'm done. I ain't talking to you no more. I got to speak in the morning, and you calling me about some bull crap. And she kind of pushed me to liking Corinne, because I was dating and I let go of her, and I realized Corinne is such a great woman. What am I thinking dating this handsome girl?
Not handsome.
Psycho.
Super handsome boy.
Girl.
That's a lot.
Nah, let me not say that. She was a decent person, but she did have daddy issues, though. It was really bad. She even admitted to me she had daddy issues. She told me one time that her dad has never said he loved her.
Oh, man.
He won't even hug her when he see her.
Wow.
And she lived with them, and he won't even hug her.
She was like Amber Heard, Dookie in the bed crazy.
Doo-doo in the bed. She almost doo-doo she probably wanted to doo-doo in my house, and then if her friend wasn't there, she probably took a dump on my floor.
Behind the couch.
Doo-doo on the pillow.
Like later.
Hey, bro, I ain't like Johnny Depp. I'd call the police on her. I'd have been like, oh, no.
You dodged the
Assault.
bullet, man.
I want a restraining order. You know what I mean? But But not, I'm not trying to belittle the girl. That's why I'm not saying her name. But at the same time, that's that dynamic where some people are unstable and they've been broke so much, either by their fathers or by other men, that they don't know how to treat a real man. They don't know what it's like to be for a man to be faithful to him. You're like, look, this is a normal life. Like, I'm not cheating on you. Like, I'm not talking to other girls. I'm not wasting my time with two women. Like, you know. But I want to say that real quick. Let me just throw this out here. I don't like when people date multiple people at one time. You know, I know a lot of people in modern life, they go, oh, date as many people as you want. And like, I think people should date one person at a time. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about that. I think you should date. ABL said no.
I don't agree with that because you kind of putting all your eggs into one basket. If you're not in a relationship, you could date, you know what I'm saying? And you don't have to necessarily be getting intimate if that's not what you into, but
right.
you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. Because like you said, the one girl had you strung along and was moving out there. And then on the day of the move-in, you didn't put all this energy into her. All of a sudden, well, I got something to tell you.
Valtrex.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
so yeah, I want y'all to know in the comment section, put a 1 if you should date one at a time, put a 2 if it's okay to date multiple people at one time. And when I'm saying dating, I'm not necessarily talking about being intimate.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, what do we mean
intimate,
by dating?
Not intimate. When I say dating, I mean trying to get to know somebody and I would say pursuing something with multiple people. And let me say pursuing. Let me say what I mean by pursuing. I think if you take a person on a date, that's you pursuing them to a certain degree. You're getting to know them. You're taking them on a date. Y'all may go to the movies. Y'all may go somewhere else. I think if you're going to do things like that, you should only do it with one person. I don't think you should go on a date with this person to the movies and go to a trip with this person. And then, but you got another person on the next weekend that you're going to dinner with them. And you got another person that comes to the crib and y'all playing video games together. And you got another person. Like, I think you should focus on one person. If that person is not what you want and you're not ready to focus on them, you shouldn't even date them in the first place. Now, I'm not saying I'm right. I just want to hear other people's feedback.
So I say for me, like, I would say I took out like multiple women at a time, but it wasn't like I was pursuing them. It was, and I know you say it's pursuing if you're going on a date, but for me, it was more like, okay, I met them. So now I'm kind of seeing what they like in person. And if I see what they're like in person and I don't like the way they are in person, then I'm not going to talk to that person anymore. I think a lot of times for me, it was like, okay, if I don't see it going anywhere, then we could just be friends or whatever. Like, we could just be friendly. But if I meet somebody, like when I met my wife, I was like, I probably was talking to like, we're about to get something serious. So I was probably talking to like 4 or 5 girls before I met my wife, right? So I was just kind of messing around. But as soon as I said, okay, I'm ready to settle down, and then I met my wife, I dropped all them like a bad habit. Then I started focusing on my wife, and like we started dating. I didn't date anybody else when I was seeing her, when I was talking to her, when I was taking her out. Like, I didn't date anybody else. But because I knew that I wanted to go somewhere with that person. But before I knew I wanted to go anywhere with anybody, then I saw multiple people.
Interesting. Yeah. So what about you, Jericho?
I think, if you're not committed, do what you cast your net as wide as you want to. But on the same token, once you're committed, then you need to be equally as serious about being committed to that person. Once you lock on to somebody, once you're interested and you want to pursue them, then yeah, that should be the only person you're focused on. But if you're out here dating, nah, man, go ahead.
And I'm saying no sexual stuff, no intimacy, because I think some people may think, I think you are completely failing if you're having sex with multiple people at one time. You ain't now one of them, because once they find out about each other, then you're gonna lose that person for sure. But let me just give you the context of what I'm saying about one person is that I think as a man, you should be focusing on winning and focusing on making yourself better and whatever the case may be. And you should be actively pursuing marriage. I'm saying actively pursuing a person as a candidate for marriage. If not, you shouldn't even talk to him. Like, I want nothing to do with you unless I think you're a candidate. Now, if you come across a woman, in my opinion, I think that a person should say, okay, this is a woman, this is a candidate. Let me go on a date with her. I'm not going to talk to any other women. I'm going to date with her. Okay, now I don't like her. So I'm done with this situation. and then I'm doing my own thing. If somebody else comes in the viewpoint, let me communicate with this person, take this person on a date or whatever. Okay, I like it. Let me go on another date. Let me focus on this person and give them quality time and be able to authentically get to know them without any kind of distraction. And I'm not saying this for everybody, but the reason I say that is because you may have Sally Mae and Jen and I'll say Jen and Jew.
Yeah, Jen and Jew.
Jen and Jew, she black. You may have Sally Mae and Jen and Jew over here, but see, Sally may get you thinking about certain things and make you question this other girl, and you may see her more than the other girl because she got to work more, and then you may become biased about who is doing what and what's the better quality person. And then another thing, if I was dating a girl, I wouldn't want her dating like 6 dudes at one time. I'm like, let's get to authentically know each other, because you letting a dude take you on dates because he got money. And so you just soaking off of his stuff, but then you come to me because you want somebody with an intellectual conversation, but you confused. You haven't gotten a chance to really know me because you can't do this weekend because you got the weekend with that guy. You know, like that's kind of my thoughts. But it looks like people are different, you know, like there's some ones and there's some twos. I don't think it's wrong. You just got to make sure you doing what's best for your stuff. Some people date multiple people and they can't do that because then they start sleeping with all of them. You know what I'm saying? Some people date one and they shouldn't be doing that either because they put all their eggs in one basket. And now they deep in. The first time they talk to somebody, they all in. You know, I think you gotta, you know, whatever you're talking to, you gotta kind of take it easy. Unless you know.
If you're not in a relationship, you free. You know what I mean? Just, you know, be careful, protect yourself, and have that be that. But once you get into the relationship, now, okay, things change. Just like me, all throughout my life, I always had a rotation of women until I decided to be in a relationship.
Spinning in place.
Rotation.
Yeah, that was me too.
Yep, always. And I'm not like some type of super like hollow monster. It was just they just kind of came to me. That's just kind of how it was.
Well, I see you, ABL. They like fly traps, but
they just appeared.
Yeah. They dropping on ABL.
He's on honey.
He running from them, boy. They just. So, but now let's say this. Do you guys think that people should live together before they're married? There you go. That's a good one.
I do. That's what.
That's a hard one.
My wife and I did. We did.
Yeah.
And it gave us a chance to see each other, you know, in a live fire exercise, you know, paying bills and things of that nature. But I always knew I had no plans because we didn't move in together right off the bat. We were together for about a year. But I always planned to marry her. So it's not like, you know, this doesn't work out, I'm out of here. But yeah, I think that's a good idea because you get to know them. You get to know them, you get to live with them, see how they really are beyond that period where you're just meeting their representative, so to speak. You know, it worked for me. I wouldn't recommend it for everybody, but yeah, if it fits into your life plan, yeah, I think you guys should live together first.
So I got a crazy story about that. Yeah. So when I first met my wife, I kind of just knew. Like I met her at a house party, and I told my friend there, I was like, you know, I think I met my future wife at your party because I was just like, we just hit it off, and she reminded me of my mom. You know, a lot of women that we meet, when they remind us of our mom and our mom is good to us, then it's like, yeah, we kind of know that she may be the one. So we were dated probably for like a month, and she was kind of in a difficult situation at home. So I told her, look, you can move in with me. So I'll take care of you out. You know, she was trying to go through school. I said, I'll take care of all the bills. You don't have to worry about anything. You just live here and you get away from your family, because she was in a tough situation with her family. And ever since then, we've been together. We've been living together ever since then. Like that, you know, it's been rough sometimes, of course, because, you know, relationships aren't easy. But, you know, I just made that commitment to her that, you know, I'm here for it. Like, I could see myself marrying you, and I don't see myself being with anybody else. So you might as well move in. I know when it comes to like shacking up and things like that, like I get it. It's not morally right. But, you know, I think she was in a tough situation. So I wanted to make things better for her, and it just worked out for us.
Yeah. What about you, ABL?
Yeah, I think you should definitely, like, during the engagement phase, especially, I think that's probably the best time. You could do that before, whatever you desire, but definitely before you get married, because you don't really necessarily know somebody till you live with them. All their idiosyncrasies, all their patterns, and what they morning routine is, all of that, it matters. Because if that's incompatible, that's not going to change at all during the relationship, because they're going to be who they are and you're going to be who you are, especially when you get to be up there in age. If y'all like 30 something, you definitely need to figure out who you with thoroughly before you get into the marriage.
That's interesting, man. I battle with this because I feel like, well, two things. If you're dating, you should not live together. If you are pursuing marriage, you should, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you could. I don't know if you should, but you could, because people get in trouble by living with somebody they just kind of dating with no plan or commitment to marriage.
Yeah,
and then what happens is y'all get a breakup, and then who gonna move out? In the state of Arizona, you both have residency. You've established residency, so you got to get a restraining order to make the other person move out or evict them with a 30-day notice. And people don't realize that, and then they get into these things, and then it's all messed up. But I can see how me and my wife lived together before we were married, and it was kind of like that wasn't a plan, but it was default, because I knew I was going to marry her. I already knew. We were in a relationship, but we lived in two different states. And so what was happening is that my lease was up, and I said, you know how stupid I would be to sign another lease and we live apart for that long? I didn't want us to live apart. I want us to live in the same state. So I said, you know what? My lease expired. I'm going to go stay with her till her lease expired. Then we're going to figure out what we're going to do. And that's what we did. And so we ended up living together in California before we were married. And then we ended up getting married when we lived in Arizona. Like, as soon as we got here, we got married. We got engaged here and everything. So I lived with her for like a few months in her apartment. But I can tell you what, man, like, it's hard living with somebody when you've been alone, when you've been a single person. Because I live by myself ever since I was 18. I live with some of my homeboys, but I'm saying independent of a woman. I live by myself. And my wife was independent too. She had her own apartment, working a job. She lived by herself. She was never married to anybody. Bro, when we first moved together, oh my God. We argued. We broke up one time. She want to put all this furniture in there, and I'm like, man, that's ugly. I don't want that in my, you know what I'm saying? You cut stuff, but we're gonna be hoarders in here. You put one more thing in here, I'm gonna be mad at you. And so our first place we lived together when we first got married, it was a nightmare, man. It was an absolute nightmare. Like, I was questioning our relationship. I'm like, I can't do this. And then, fellas, I have to say this because the women appreciate this. I realized that I was wrong. We moved in this house. I don't care what she put in here. And then when I shut up and I let her do it, it looked beautiful. I'm like, dang, it looked like a model home in here. Now I was wrong. But what happened was, it was a battle, man. I had been living and everything has been my way. And I didn't like her way at first, so it was a battle. And some people that aren't ready for that, and they maybe not in love as they think they are, you jump into that can ruin your relationship. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, people have to understand the test and the battles that you go through in a relationship. And if you're really, really committed to that person, if you're really, really committed to make it work, then you stick it out. Like, you're gonna fight a lot. Like, in relationship, you're gonna fight a lot. I know a lot of people that are not in relationships, they get into relationships thinking, oh, we're not supposed to argue, we're not supposed to fight, we're not supposed to have disagreements. You will, and it will happen a lot, but you test your relationship by how well you can handle those things.
For the most part, go ahead, B. Tatum.
No, go ahead, Jericho.
For the most part, your relationship is supposed to be easy. Yes, you're going to have disagreements. There are going to be things that happen unforeseen or whatever, but for the most part, it's supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be fun. You're supposed to not take 2 extra laps around the block before you come home and gather yourself emotionally before you walk up to the door. It's supposed to be something that you look forward to, that you enjoy. So love is not supposed. I can't stand when people say, oh, we argue all the time, but it's passion. No, it's not. You ain't supposed to be arguing all the time. That's unhealthy. Sometimes, yes. And eventually, that's something I'm so glad that my wife and I, ever since we got together, we never go to bed angry, ever. Got to work it out before you fall asleep. And it don't happen often. As a matter of fact, it hasn't happened in a few years, hopefully. Knock on wood, I'm not jinxing myself. But you don't go to sleep angry. But for the most part, it's supposed to be enjoyable. This is your partner. This is your best friend. eventually, if you haven't already, you went halves on another human being. So this is somebody's company you should enjoy. It should not be hard. It should not be when you go home all the time.
And if it is, you got to look in the mirror. You know, I had to look in the mirror, man, because I even now, bro, I be getting mad at my wife over stuff, and I'm like, and I got to come back and apologize, because I'm like, man, I didn't even have to really get that mad over there. I didn't have to get it. Why am I getting offended that my wife did this and this and that? I need to chill. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to work on myself, because to be honest, we would probably never argue if it wasn't for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm stubborn, man. She'll have a thing, we'll disagree, and then I want to argue. I'm like, no, but I'm right. But now, why are you saying that? Because I got the evidence. You know what I'm saying? And we get arguing, and a mature man will learn over time, and I think I'm learning that, like, if we get it's like, don't even argue. Like, but the thing about me and my wife, we don't stay mad at each other long. You know what I'm saying? We'll be, sometimes we'll yell. Yeah, no, you shouldn't have said that. And then an hour later, hey baby, where you going? You know what I'm saying? You finna go to the store? Okay. You want me to go with you? Okay. We didn't forgot all about it. You know what I mean? And the quest is, and I heard a wise man say, they've been married for like 60-some years. They said, never go to sleep mad. I don't care what you do. Like, before y'all go to sleep, y'all need to make it right.
You gotta work it out.
Work it out. It's
That's
not that big of a deal. Like, we ain't going nowhere. Like, if my wife get mad at me, it's like, I don't care if I'm mad. I'm not going nowhere. So I better make it right. I can't leave her. You know what I'm saying? I can't move out. So, you know, I better get it together, and we better squash this, because we got to live together, you know? So, but I think my wife and I probably never been mad longer than like 2 or 3 hours. You know, we just get over it, man. It's like, I'm tired, you tired. What are we arguing about? You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, I think that when I became a conservative, I kind of started arguing a little more with my wife, because you know, I got used to debating people online. I got used to trying to prove my point all the time, so that kind of spilled over into my relationship, and I kind of had to check myself recently. It's like, you know what, this is not a person online. This is not a dumb liberal. Like, this is your wife. Like, you know, sometimes you just got to give a little. Sometimes you got to let her have this one. You know what I'm saying?
It's hard. It's hard as a man, bro. I be wanting to win all of my battles, bro. I be right, though.
My wife tells me that, especially with my daughter. She's like, you got to pick your battles, babe. I was like, I did. I picked all of them. I want all the battles. I don't want to lose anything. And sometimes when I'm mad, I want to stay mad. Just let me be mad. I'm pissed. But, you know, it don't last long. And it shouldn't last long. Of course, you're going to get mad. And I really have to work on not letting little things get me upset. But my wife, because with your wife, when you're at home, that's you. It ain't watching the algorithms on YouTube, or I got to watch what I say. When you're at home, that's raw and uncut. And sometimes we'll see something on TV, or we'll be watching some show and they interject some of that SJW crap into it. And I just let them fly. Sometimes double F-bombs back to back. And she's like, don't say that. You don't have to say that. I'm like, yeah, you're right. But man, that felt good to say it.
You know, I get in the car and start yelling at my wife. I start yelling at my wife when I leave the house. Like, she make me mad at the house when I go on the drive. Or something. I'm like, I can't stand her. She always arguing about it. And I just get it all out, baby. I talk all kind of trash to my wife. Then I get home, I'm like, it's all gone now. I'm like, hey, baby, what you doing? You smell good.
That's
but I get it out, bro. I get it out in the car. I drive around the block and just be saying all kinds of stuff. I start cussing and everything. No, you ain't gonna talk. You ain't gonna be talking. She ain't gonna be talking to me like that. Then I get over it.
You know what?
That's why they gotta let us get away for a little bit. Yeah, come home and we're straight.
Smoke a cigar. You know, when forget about it.
My wife and I, we were dating, and I used to mess with her. We'd be in traffic, and I would start hitting her seat and pointing at her and act like I'm yelling, and she would just be like, "Okay, stop pointing at her." I'd be hitting her seat like I'm yelling at her, and it was so funny because that's so far from the truth. I ain't nothing like that. I would never do that. But man, I would do that to her just to make her mad. But I do that all the time. And my wife pissed me off and I happen to be leaving, I let her have it, you know, in the truck.
My wife is nuts.
Not when I get home though.
Nah, man, I'm over it, man, because I'm too grown to be arguing. You know, because the thing about us is that we are political figures, or not political figures, but we're influencers, like people look up to us. We were talking like what I look like yelling at my wife. You know, the funny thing is, man, I can never get into it with my wife in public because people recognize me everywhere we go. Everywhere we go. We were playing with my kid in the water. They got a little water thing at Scottsdale Quarters. It's a place called Scottsdale Quarters. All the families take their kids and they got this water in this little play area. And like I'm out there and stuff, and people come up to me, Tatum, Officer Tatum. We're in a restaurant. Officer Tatum, we're in the airport. Officer Tatum. And I'm like, boy, if I was to get crazy with my wife one day and somebody, you know, recognized me, they like, look at Officer Tatum. I thought he was
all
over
TMZ.
You know? But you gonna see me get mad, bro. When I'm in public, my wife can guarantee we ain't finna argue. You know, not unless it's under my voice. Huh?
I mess with her. She'll be down the aisle and I say, well, if you quit drinking, we can get the kids back. So that makes me laugh.
Bro, that's hilarious, bro. That is hilarious. I'm gonna do that to my wife. Like,
do it, man. It's funny.
Oh my God. Then I ain't gonna eat, and I'm gonna have to sleep outside.
Yeah, there's consequences. The weather's nice this time in Arizona. It's nice to sleep under the stars.
What is it? What my wife talking about? And Brandon's always irate at the airport. Yeah, right, girl. My wife is always the one with a problem at the airport. My God, she can't get it together. TSA not working. How your TSA not working? Every time my TSA working, you're not working. Then she got insulin pump. She go to the thing. Now they arguing. Now she got to go here and back and forth. She mad at the people at the security, and they be wrong. I ain't gonna lie, they be wrong like a mug. But my wife always mad, but because I travel so much, I smooth through that thing. I show up at the airport when my flight is boarding. I show up at the airport when it's boarding. I go right through clear, go through TSA. I don't take my shoes off. I have a bag with me. I'm already checked in at the house. I go right through there. Whoop. I don't even run. I'm like, board at this time. They got about 30 minutes of boarding. So if I get there, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So I don't recommend it to nobody else, but I'm a pro at this stuff, man. I go with my wife and the baby. I mean, I don't know if y'all got multiple kids, but bruh, that is horrible traveling with the kids and the wife. All these, we got 6 bags. Yep. The baby got to go this and got to check in and this, and compared to flying by myself, bro.
Oh yeah. Well, we took our kids. We went to Hawaii last year, and my son, he just turned 6, or just turned 5, about 5.5. So he was good. He had his little suitcase and everything, and he was carrying his own stuff. So it made it a lot easier. I couldn't imagine, you know, with a little Bo being a little baby. And, you know, when they're that young, you got to bring 90% of what you own with you for accidents and spit ups and all this other kind of stuff, and the stroller. Man, don't worry, B. Tatum. Don't worry.
My wife, we went to Florida, and I'm like, I ain't never. He did good this time, but like we went to Tennessee one time. I said I ain't never traveling with them again. I told my wife, I'm gonna let you sit here. I'm gonna go sit in the back of the plane. You can be up here by yourself with that boy. And it's funny, the women on the plane say, "Oh my God, he's so good on the plane." It's like, no, we're massaging and working him the whole time on the plane so he don't scream in front of y'all. You know what I'm saying? We got to pick him up and play, and he want to crawl, give him the bottle. Me and the wife doing the Cupid shuffle in there and trying to get him diapers. He didn't poop everywhere. And they want to put his finger in mouth and throw up. And I mean, yeah, dang, you know, but you know, we didn't have some miserable time. I mean, the first time he flew, he screamed for 25 minutes. He screamed the entire descent, and he wasn't just screaming. He was choking and gagging and doing all kind of stuff. And I'm like, man. And we on Southwest, and it's me, Corinne, and my media guy, Nick, and we crunched in this little Southwest flight, and we doing this. The wife hold him, she hold him. He just, I'm like, these people
all kind of noises.
We think these people are gonna think we have no idea what we're doing with this baby. We have no idea. And he's just screaming bloody murder. And you know, I know people are used to it at this point. You know, everybody has kids that cry. But man, I was humiliated. I said, I'm never taking you on a plane ever again. We're gonna drive back. You're not coming out the house no more after this. Yeah. You little crazy thing, man. My son was crazy when he was born, but anyway, but it wasn't his fault. You know, he may have had his ears was hurting in the plane, but it was treacherous. And now he's a lot better. But anyway, I think we've been on here for 1 hour and 45 minutes. Hey, I'm gonna try to continue the show, even though I have my radio show. I'm gonna try to do it. It'll just be a long day for me, but I think we have such a good time. And I want you guys to be able to come on my show. You know, I'm gonna get you guys on the lineup. You can call in. Matter of fact, after this, I may get one of y'all, if y'all up early, to call in on the show on Charlie Kirk show, because That's 3 hours, baby. I could talk, but I don't know if I could talk that long. I may have to have y'all
Ooh.
in there.
Oh man, that's no problem.
Help me at the top of the hour or something. But anyway, man, I appreciate you guys coming on. I appreciate everybody else watching. ABL, where can they get that hat at, man?
Or they can get this I survived the pandemic beanie on the merch site, ablmerch.com. That is ablmerch.com. I got a lot more of these. I got a little bit of everything on the site, and I got more on the way. I got boxes in my garage. They ain't even shipped yet. I got items that you never even seen before. They're going to hit the store ASAP. So yeah, go to the merch site and also go to my regular website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. You can find my email, my snail mail, on my social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff is right there on the contact page. And of course, find me on YouTube, ABL, just search that and I'll pop right on up.
Jericho, what you got?
Hey, YouTube, of course, Jericho Green, jerichogreen.net. I got a new merch store that's going to be launching soon. You know, you go to my YouTube link tree, you'll find all my platforms. And of course, I started doing my own live stream Friday nights, 6:30 Pacific Standard Time.
Awesome. Good, man. Y'all got to check that out, man. On Jericho Green.
It's fun.
Put in Jericho Green. It's raw and uncut, bro. It ain't probably ain't as nice as mine, but he in there telling y'all the truth, making it hurt. But anyway, Oliver Mack, what you got, man? Right Wing Angel.
Yeah, so I got 2 websites for y'all to visit. So if you want to get some merch, this is a hat right here, masculinist hat. You can go to rightwingedangelstore.com, and you can also go to rightwingedangel.com, and that's where you find links to all my stuff. I got YouTube on there, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff.
Perfect. Yeah, you just launched your store just recently, man. That's great, man. So y'all go on and support these fellas, man. You go in there and check it out. Even if you ain't buying nothing, just go in there and look at it. All that hard work and dedication that's put into it. I know how it is. You know, my store is the same way, man. We put a lot of work into it to add value to people. You know, we're not sitting around saying, just give us money and we can. No, it's like, look, let's exchange value. I got some value you want. This is a good way to support us and also get something in return. So y'all go check out everybody that's watching this. It's 1,300 people. And most of y'all probably are subscribed to all of us. But if you ain't, just go through, find ABL, subscribe to him, find Jericho, subscribe to him, Oliver Mack, Right Wing Angel, subscribe to him, subscribe to all these brothers on all the social media platforms. While you're chilling and going on Instagram, go find them on Instagram and subscribe to their channel, because we need every voice that we can to be out there in the ether, changing people's lives and being a voice of reason. And these fellas right here are doing a tremendous job. So we love you guys. We'll talk to you later. I'll see y'all later. We're out.
Peace.